So this is an anime with a little bit of difference, isn't it, Ray?
Yes, it is. It's called Jormundgand, and the second season is called Jormundgand Perfect Order. It started in October, and so we thought we'd go back and take a look at this series because it's not airing on TV at the moment, so we're going to give you just a little bit of a taste of what it's about.
Peek of it.
Yes.
Now, we did only have time to watch the first 3 episodes of season 1.
That's right. Season 1 has 12 eps. Season 2 is up to episode 9, I believe, at the moment. You can stream it online, so you can get a taste for it there. But, this is kind of what we thought. The name Jormungand is derived from a creature in Norse mythology, also known as the Midgard serpent or world serpent. Jormungand, the anime, follows Coco Hekmatya, a young female arms dealer who sells weapons under HCLI, an international shipping corporation that secretly deals in the arms trade. As one of the company's unofficial weapon dealers, she secretly sells weapons in many countries while avoiding the local authorities and law enforcement agencies, as most of her work is actually illegal under international law. Traveling with her is a team of bodyguards who are mostly composed of ex-military veterans. Her latest addition, though, to her crew is Jonah, a seemingly emotionless child soldier who is skilled in combat yet ironically hates arms dealers. What follows is Coco and her crew's escapades around the world.
Now, Coco herself is quite an interesting character. She's a bit of an enigma. She's very bold and very charismatic, and she's also, I think, pretty funny.
It's quite funny.
But then she throws these tantrums that kind of makes you realise that beyond being an arms dealer and a leader of these pretty hardcore mercenaries,
yes,
she's also just a girl.
Yeah, she's a bloody brat of a leader, really. Yeah, she's quite cunning, like a cat, actually. And I also feel that she's been lumped with this responsibility. Even though she's very good at it, something sort of belies her confidence. She's practical and clinical, but also quite maternal in how she cares for Jonah, which is really nice. It's a really interesting relationship they have in this mix when you consider her as an arms dealer and him as a child soldier. It's this kind of paradox that pulls you into the series.
Now, this was a manga series first, though, right?
Yes, by Kitaro Takahashi. It's been met with some criticism in that it can get caught up in the political nature of weapon trading. And I can understand this reservation. It can get a little heavy, almost bogged down with the different government factions at play, and I get a little confused by it, but it's also the very element that sets it apart from other anime. So even though it's not often the most engaging content, it's still something that I long to watch more of. The attraction lies in what the story is not telling you. You get these small scenes between secondary characters that give clues to our protagonists and the larger picture, and that's very cool. And then again, in some ways I feel like it could be a little cleaner. Some of the information seems a bit too fragmented for me.
Really?
Each episode. Yeah.
Oh, no, see, for me, I almost feel like it's too clean. Like, everything's moving so fast that I find it difficult to breathe sometimes.
Nah, I think it breathes too much. It's one big long breath, and it needs something more to pump it up because I don't know, my heart's not really racing yet. I'm not caught up in the stakes of it. It needs more beef.
Possibly. Well, maybe it's, for me, I think this is a bit of a slow burn of a series.
Yes.
And more beef. More beef.
More grit.
Come on now. It's tenacious and it's got backbone and it's got that explosions.
Fine, alright, but I still think it needs more action. Maybe I'm just a little, I don't know, impatient perhaps, but yeah, that's what I want from it. On the other hand, I do enjoy all the talk about the weaponry and the tactical equipment. Even though some of the specifics or details I'm not really familiar with, it makes the series seem very present. And if you're up on current events, there's a lot of parallels you can draw between the series and the various government factions of today. It's quite intricate in that respect.
So, did you like the score in this one, Ray?
I did, yes.
I know the title song got stuck in my head.
Yes, it can do that. I really liked the sound. I thought, especially a lot of the sound of the weaponry was really good. The voices and voiceovers are very good. The soundtrack itself is very catchy, so it's no wonder it got stuck in your head. It's high tempo and contemporary. It's very energetic, which is nice. I thought it could be a little distracting at times. It sort of pulled me away from some of the information it was trying to relay. But yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on all at the same time, especially because we both watched the original version with subtitles.
Yeah.
So you're reading and you're watching, and then the music comes in, and there's a lot of technical terms that it can be quite overwhelming, I think, when all of that's happening all at the same time.
That's right, yeah. And there's not an original release yet. Manga Entertainment and Funimation have picked it up, so it won't be too long before, they've
get a dubbed version
coming out. But on to character. Design-wise, it's nothing groundbreaking. Most of the design is very modern. It's supposed to reflect the age of now, and they do it well. The weaponry and vehicles look great. Our leading characters are fresh and interesting. Some of the facial angles venture into a sharper, more angular style, which isn't aesthetically pleasing for me, but, it only happens at some of the points. Then elements such as Jonah's red eyes were a little off-putting at first. I ended up warming to it, but I still think there could have been a better choice.
I thought it was a good choice because you usually associate evil characters with red eyes.
Yes.
And here we have the ambiguity of a child killing machine. What about the animation, Ray?
Look, it's good, but again, nothing really blew my mind. The action was quite sparse. When there is action, though, it's nicely done, and with a good choice of angles and some fine directorial decisions on movement. And the rest of it kind of seems a bit static. I don't know. But look, we've only just scratched the surface of this anime. I think it's going to be quite intense as it goes on.
I think so as well. I'm actually really intrigued by this series. I think it could be quite an interesting little storyline that's going to play out.
I think it's what you said about being a bit of a slow burn.
A slow burn, I think so.
Yeah.
Colour-wise, it's a little bland, I will say. It's very neutral colours, very washed out, but I think it makes up for it in texture, both environment and personalities in the characters.
Yep.
The characters themselves I find fascinating. I mean, Jonah is hardly the most sympathetic of characters.
No.
You can't get an in with him.
Yes.
And Coco, I'm pretty sure, is insane.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Quite
pretty
possibly.
sure. The rest of the personalities are really interesting and very charismatic, and they all kind of behave like this big, happy, arms-dealing family, which is a bit interesting. There's not as much whimsy or fantasy elements to it that a lot of the other anime that I've watched have, and I kind of like that.
Yes.
It's grounded and it's gritty and it's real. There's a lot of political things that are going on. I find it really interesting. I'm really keen to see how this pans out. It's a buy from me, and I can't wait to finish watching season 1 and then get on to season 2.
Yeah, well, either it's going to, work its way along and then reveal itself to be a big empty husk, or it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I'm hoping for it to be the latter.
Please.
It's just there's not a lot of information coming forth, and so I think there's a lot yet to be revealed in the series. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fine action. The characters are very interesting. I would like if there was a bit more of a stronger female presence in it, and perhaps if it was a bit softer.
Yeah.
I think that kind of juxtaposition would probably help a lot with the series.
Yep.
Yeah, it probably helps strengthen a lot of those other storylines a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give it a borrow, though. It just doesn't quite get across the line. I'm not going to, follow it doggedly, but I will continue to watch it because I am interested to see where it's going to go. But it's a bit of a risk for me at the moment, so I'm only going to sit on the fence with that.
Sit on the fence with that one.
Yes.
You're just a big softie, really, aren't you, Ray?
Shush.